Hey guys, Ange here and baby Sky, and welcome back to our postpartum series for new mums to help them return back to exercise safely. In this video, we're going to be going through how to find your core. Now, it is completely normal after having a baby to be poking around your midsection and wondering where your abdominal muscles have gone. Don't stress, don't worry, but we can work on re-engaging them, and we want to start with the most safe version of abdominal core work. And we start with our breath. We then go on to some basic mobility and then some stability. So when it comes to breathing, it starts with the breath. When it comes to re-engaging your core, what we find is that if you've got any dysfunctional breath, you're not really breathing into your abdomen, what we do find is that tends to lead to lower back pain and incontinence, which is obviously linked to pelvic floor. We want to avoid that. So let's start off with that breath and what it should look like. When we breathe in on the inhale, you want to imagine you're breathing the air into your abdomen, you're filling up your vagina, your back passage, and you're really expanding into that space. On the exhale, that's when we're wanting to be picking up that pelvic floor, pulling in through our core and pulling our belly into our spine. When it comes to abdominal work, we want to start by building the deep level muscles first. So your transverse abdominis, and you'll hear me refer to that as your TA, your pelvic floor, and your multifidus, which is the muscles that run down your spine. As you progress through your core work, that's then when you start to use maybe your rectus abdominis or your obliques, but that's a little bit further down the track. When it comes to doing these exercises, I started them maybe 2 or 3 weeks postpartum, so you don't necessarily have to wait for your 6-week check. And I had a cesarean delivery, so obviously my return back to doing core work was quite slow, but I progressed it as I went. So the first thing we want to do is we want to practice that breath. We want to breathe in, send the air into the abdomen, filling up that space, and then exhale. We want to practice engaging the core, because it's on the exhale that's when we should be exerting the effort, whether it's picking up our baby, whether it's doing exercises at the gym, or whether it's doing our core work. So let's practice that for 2 more breaths. Big breath in, and then breathing out, pulling up, developing that tone through the pelvic floor and pulling TA in. So let's start off with some flat laying transverse abdominis activation. So start off with laying down, feet hip distance apart. Take the 2 fingers and take them to the sides of the hip bones. You want to have them just inside the hip bones because you're wanting to feel that activation. Start with a relaxation breath. And then this time inhale. And then on the exhale, you want to engage through TA and pelvic floor. Imagine that you're pulling the hip bones together and the pelvic floor up. So imagine that letter T being traced along your core. And you want to feel underneath your fingertips 2 little bulges, like 2 little ripe avocados. You should be able to feel the tension there. Now, when we're doing our abdominal work, we want to be able to keep that tension through the core. So I'm going to lead you through 3 great exercises that I started off with, and I did these for maybe a week. Before then, I progressed them on. So the first exercise is a bent knee fall out. You want to keep your right leg perfectly still as you drop the left knee out towards the side, keeping your hands on the inside of your hips to make sure that the core stays on, and then you're bringing that knee back up to center. Inhale as you take the leg down. Exhale, bring the leg back up to center. Inhale, Bubba Sky's getting involved too, and then exhale, coming back up. Each one of these exercises, I'd be doing them for about a minute to be really developing the endurance through the core. The next exercise is a foot slide, and you want to again isolate through your hips. You want to slide your left leg out long on your mat on the inhale, and exhale as you come back up through center. Keep your foot relatively light on the mat so that you're not gripping through your heel, and again isolating. You want to keep the core on the whole time as you're sliding the foot out long and then back again. So again, about a minute. So all up, girls, you might only end up spending maybe 5 minutes in your day doing these exercises, but the aim is to do them on a regular basis. The last exercise is a modified bird dog. You want to have your arms, your wrists directly underneath your shoulders, and we're starting by lifting up through the navel, so pulling it up so that your back is supported. Weight bear through your left knee and send your right leg out long on the mat. Have a brief hold at the top, making sure that you're not overextending through your lumbar spine, your back. Make sure that the core is engaged. Slide the knee back in and then alternate to the other side. And once again, you want to be making sure that you're keeping your hips level, that you're not shifting your weight dramatically, and there's no swinging through the hips. Core tight as you lift the leg and back in and down. So there we have it, girls. That's 3 great abdominal exercises that I would start off with when it comes to finding your core postpartum. Do these a little bit each day and quite regularly until you feel like you've got the strength and endurance to then progress on. Stay tuned for our next videos where I'll be showing you some great progressions.